So today we've talked about how we determine the formula for area for obtuse and right triangles, which we did determine is area equals 1/2 base times height. So now we're going to look at acute triangles and see if we can determine how you get the area formula. Before we can start, we need to define what an acute triangle is. So the definition of acute is an angle measuring less than 90 degrees. If you remember, obtuse was greater than 90 degrees. This is less than. So what that means is your angles are going to look kind of small. So a 90-degree angle kind of makes an L because the lines are perpendicular, or they kind of cross each other. And they make a little box in the corner which shows it's 90 degrees. If you look at these are less than this because they don't form. If you tried to form a right angle, it's less than that. And for a whole triangle to be an acute triangle, all three angles must be less than 90 degrees. So if this is our triangle right here, and it's acute because all angles are less than 90 degrees, we're going to call this our base. So we need to find our height. Just like we did for the obtuse triangle, we're going to make a little extra triangle over here that starts at the bottom of the base and kind of works its way up to the top point of the triangle to make the height, and draw our little diagonal line here. And so we're going to call this our height. And just like we did for the obtuse triangle, we want to try to make a rectangle. Because if you remember the area definition, the definition of an area of a shape is the number of 1x1 squares that fit into a shape. Now if you look at this triangle, it would be really challenging to fit perfect 1x1 squares into the shape, which is why it would help if we made a rectangle. So if we have this shape here, this is kind of half of a rectangle. So we're just going to reflect this entire thing over the other side. So here's the triangle. This triangle just kind of flipped and reflected. And then we're going to make the height just over here. So this is h, just the same as it is here. And we're going to call, just like we did with the obtuse triangle, this whole side x. It could be a, c, d, but we're going to call it x. And so if we know this side right here is b, and this whole thing is x, that would mean this whole thing is x. This little side here is going to be x minus b. And this little side here is going to be x minus b, because again, this triangle's flipped, so this would be the base on this triangle. So now that we have all of our sides figured out, we're going to try to determine the formula for area. So the area of this triangle is going to be h times x, because h times x would be the area of the entire rectangle, minus, we need to get rid of the h, the height over here, times x minus b, because we need to get rid of this triangle. And then we need to divide by 2 because we have 2 of it over here, and we don't want to deal with that. We just want to know this triangle. If you notice, this is the exact same formula we had for the obtuse triangle. So if you simplify this, h times x minus, and you distribute the h times the x, and you keep the minus sign, and here you distribute the h times the b, 2 negatives, if you remember, make a positive. So, and the hx's here are going to cancel out. You have h times b, so height times base, over 2, which tells us that the formula for an acute triangle's area is area equals 1/2 base times height.